Hey, I'm Liz, and I'm a developer advocate at Evervault. Today we're going to talk about file encryption. There are a couple of cases that immediately come to mind when you think about uploading a file, keeping it encrypted on your app, and only decrypting it when it reaches its intended destination. One is if you have a PDF that contains healthcare records or lending data. Another is if you're trying to send an image that has any PII in it, like a passport or an ID. And another is pretty broad, but any type of document that you have, whether it's a spreadsheet or a text file that has sensitive data, can be encrypted and stay encrypted as it passes to wherever you're trying to send it. In the app that we look at today, we are going to use the Evervault client-side SDK to encrypt a file when it's uploaded. We're going to pass it to a Python backend, and then we're going to send it as an email attachment using the SendGrid API. And we'll use Evervault Outbound Relay to decrypt it, and it will only be decrypted once it hits the SendGrid API. So our form here is pretty basic. We just need to pass it the email that we want to send to, and then a file that we want to attach. So I'll hit send email here. And then if I go over to my email inbox, we should see it pop up here. I'm using a demo account, which is why we need to confirm that the email is safe to open. But you'll see then if we do open the message, we get it here and it's decrypted. Let's take a look at the code, and I'll show you where we can check and make sure that it stayed encrypted when it hit the app. So we have the form here, and then we are instantiating the JavaScript client-side SDK. We are encrypting the file as soon as it's uploaded. And then down here, we're passing it to the Python backend. Now, if we go over and look at the Python code, we are getting the file and saving it in a temporary folder. Then we'll get the Evervault Python SDK, we'll enable Outbound Relay, and then we can open that file. It's just going to be a big encrypted blob, and we can send it on to the SendGrid API, and that will go through Outbound Relay once it's on its way to SendGrid. Just to double check and make sure that the file did stay encrypted, if we go over here to uploads and click on that file, if it had uploaded in its original state, we would be able to see the file here, but because it's a big encrypted blob, we don't see anything. The other way that we can make sure that it's hit Outbound Relay is if we check the Outbound Relay dashboard and look at the activity logs. So you'll see here that we made that request just a couple minutes ago. And we are selecting the fields to encrypt over here in response encryption. So if we go in here, you'll see that we enabled api.sendgrid.com, and we chose this field to encrypt. So a few tips for setup. Make sure you are using the multi-part form data encoding type. Keep the files that you're sending under 25 megabytes. And while file encryption is in beta, you are going to need to set a tunnel host name. So it will look like the one on the screen, relay files beta. The other thing to note is that if you'd rather use inbound relay to set that in front of maybe a form that you already have running, you can do that. You'll want to make sure that you use the URL that we give you that will have relay files beta in the URL so that it will properly work with encrypting the files. So that's how to use file encryption. Definitely let us know how you're getting on with it. We'd love to hear more about your use cases and what you're building. So reach out to us, drop us a comment here on YouTube, or you can also join our Discord and engage with us there.